Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And I have a guest on the show today that I've invited back for the second time. I mean, he is in the middle of it all. If you're on LinkedIn at all, I mean, you probably see some of his posts. I mean, he's such an interesting person. He has such a great look at entrepreneurship, at the way that we intellectualize enterprises. And when he posts something on LinkedIn, they go viral. I mean, everybody always responds to that. And, you know, we see hundreds of people responding to his LinkedIn messages. And he's very powerful. And he believes, of course, that we're put on this planet to really help one another and do great things. And that's one of the things that he's really been able to build his enterprise with. His name is Bryan J. Esposito, and Bryan is the founder and CEO, of course, of Esposito Intellectual Enterprises. And he's an equity stakeholder in so many different companies, and he's also part of their management team. He does a great job. Today, we're going to be doing what I'm going to call an entrepreneur update, because since the last time we've had him on the show, there's so many new things that he's involved with. I mean, he's involved with the NFT space. He has something that you probably heard about, the world's first crypto hotel. He's got Turncoin and, of course, VirtualStaX. We want to talk about it all. Bryan, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you, Andy. It's such a pleasure to be back as a twofer guest, so I'm completely honored and looking forward to today's discussion. It's
great to have you. Last time we had you on the show, you were sitting outside, and it was a beautiful day, and the grass was, you know, glowing, and everything was looking beautiful. And, of course, you're in one of your offices today, and you have so many of the people behind you and so many of the things that are important behind you. But before we get started, of course, we always like to pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Bryan, tell us about what you're doing at Esposito Intellectual Enterprises, and then we're going to get into everything that you're involved with on the new horizons.
Yeah, let's get into it. So a lot has updated since the last time that we spoke, and your listeners heard me go over my company. So again, we're well over 20 years of work in building my professional career. I have what is now built is known as a holding company, wholly owned by me at the top level. There's now well over 90 entities in that holdings. I've accumulated over 150 joint ventures from around the world, and we're operating in over 25 different industries. So it's this incredible ecosystem of resources, technology, IP, products, solutions, and services, all wrapped around incredible management, great teams, exceptional legal, accounting, compliance, and regulatory, depending upon the industry or the products that we're putting into the market. And it's an arsenal of resources. So over the last 5 years, and why I continue to grow what I've built and be invited into great companies and projects, is I take this arsenal of resources and relationships, and I get to work and partner with startups, even up to Fortune 500 companies. And what we do is we create value. If it's a startup, my job is there to protect the founders, protect the current stakeholders, take my holdings and work with them to create that opportunity, build new booster balance sheets, get them positively earning revenues. If I don't believe in the unicorn model, if we're going to be in business, we got to go in business to make money. And if you want to grow and you want to protect your company and protect your equity, you better find a way to be profitable. And that's my job, is to help these companies grow. If it's a Fortune 500 company, same type of model. We work together, taking my resources and relationships. We open them up to new markets, new product services or IP development, and we just help boost their balance sheets and keep them going in positive momentum. Because as we all know, some of the biggest names in the world, if they don't adapt and they don't bring on new opportunities, they disappear. And it's, you know, I see that hamster wheel all the time of brands just disappearing that you never thought would happen. So it's rewarding to work with the concept phase startups, even up to multi-billion-dollar companies. But at the end of the day, it's the same model. We're here to create value. We're here to boost your balance sheets, and we're here to generate earnings.
Yeah, Bryan, it's so interesting. I'm glad you said that, because, you know, there's so many entrepreneurs out in the world today. There's so many startup founders that get so geeked up about their technology and what's going on with their platforms, and they get all involved with, you know, new things, that when you ask them about their customers and how they're going to make money, it kind of feels like maybe they even forgot about that part of the business. So let's talk about that. How crazy is it that, you know, sometimes you talk to people and they forget about the single most important thing, that you're here to make some money?
It's interesting, but once you start to have these discussions with them, it does take a little bit, because they kind of tilt their head like a dog. That's not what they're used to. They're used to going out to the market, raising money, running out of money, raising money, running out of money. And that's a very deflating, bad for your mental health and wellness. And more importantly, you find yourself diluting out of your own company. And it's a position that no entrepreneur really should put themselves in, or a path that they should put themselves on, but it's not their fault. They go on LinkedIn, they go read the Wall Street Journal, they see a company that's either like theirs or even less than theirs, and they're raising millions of dollars or raising billions of dollars. But those companies have the right relationships, the right story, and the right momentum behind them. So once they start to understand, you left your safe corporate world, you left being a teacher, you're on your own. So the first thing you need to do is you got to eat what you kill. And in this business mindset means you got to go out and make money. So what is your product? What market are you servicing? Go get one customer. Forget about trying to get 100 customers, trying to get 1,000 customers, trying to get 1,000,000 customers. Just go and get one customer, perfect and prove out your model, or reach out and find people like me and bring them on as advisors to help you open up markets, help you open up a paid pilot use case with somebody. There are great opportunities out there. You just have to get clever rather than trying to window dress what your company is and then trying to raise money from friends, family, or investors. If you don't have a pipeline of customers to sell your product or your services to, you're going to run out of money, and that story cannot continue to repeat itself. You're going to find yourself in harm's way, and all of a sudden a great opportunity just disappears.
Yeah, I love it. And it's great advice for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show. I mean, take this video, put it on your phone, watch it every morning when you get up, because Bryan really speaks the truth. It's really interesting. Now, one thing that I love that you do, and one thing that resonates so much for, I'm sure, the viewers watching is, you're an equity holder, but also you become part of the management. In other words, you have this great profile of people and resources that you can bring to the table. So you sort of put your money where your mouth is. You say, hey, we're going to put our money in, but we're also going to bring our talent and leverage our background experience, our relationships to help the company. When we think about startup founders, Bryan, and you look at so many different companies, how important is the team? In other words, when you look at a group, you look at a team, you look at an idea, you look at a startup founder, how important is that team for you to sort of think that this is a company that's going to make it?
It's really important. And the founders, obviously extremely important. And even the equity holders and the investors, there's this formula of perfection that you need, or if I come in that I need to help fix. There's a lot of companies that have a giant arsenal of advisors and people that are on their decks and they're giving out equity, but they're doing nothing. So if I'm going to come in, for me, also money, whether it's personal capital or investment banking partners or any of our strategic capital partners, that's secondary or third to the equation. Right now, it's, do we have to clean house? Who on this team is not performing? We got to give them 30 days to do something. You got to go out there and do something to make this company get some momentum going on. So that's step one. I also need to, actually, that's step two. Step one is the founder or the CEO. I need to know that we're like-minded. I'm not money oriented. Money's a byproduct of doing good things. That's my mentality. So if I'm sitting with a founder that's raising capital and they're going on fancy vacations, or they're going to flash me their Rolex watch, or they're driving a nice car, but they're trying to raise money, there's something not lining up with what's happening here. I need to find out what it is if I'm going to go any further. And I just want to understand that we're in this to make money, obviously. We're in this to protect the investors. We're in this to protect the employees and grow the company. But if you're not being prudent with your own personal wealth and what you're doing with capital, I'm not there to fix you with that. You need to go see a therapist. You need to go sit with your accounting and understand what you're supposed to do with your money. My time is more spent better with all the other companies that are grounded, are humbled, really have amazing ideas or technology or products, and they just need a little help. I learned this in the music industry when I got involved over 10 years ago. There's over 130 million starving artists around the world. These are exceptional talents, people that could be better than the Bruce Springsteens, better than the Taylor Swifts, but it's who you know. They don't know the right people. They don't have the right equipment. They don't have access to the studios. So, when you see greatness, it's upsetting sometimes when you see it doesn't see the light of day, because again, it just didn't have the right channel to make it happen. I like being that spoke in the wheel to help them make it happen. And that leads to one of our great companies, Turncoin and VirtualStaX. That whole concept is about helping fuel people's dreams, finance their dreams, and making sure they don't give up on their passions.
Yeah, I love it. Of course, we want to talk about it. We want to talk about what you're doing with Turncoin and VirtualStaX. I wanted to get into the NFT space and the NFT business. But before we do, you mentioned Turncoin and VirtualStaX. Let's get high level. Let's do a little pull back 30,000 feet like we always do, and tell us about what's happening with Turncoin and Virtual, and then we'll get into the NFT space that you're starting to make some big waves in.
Yes, sir. So Turncoin is one of the most coveted holdings. We're sitting just under a $15 billion market cap. We have the full investment and support of some of the most iconic celebrities, athletes, and musicians around the world, such as Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Randy Jackson, David Meltzer, Von Miller, Cam Jordan, Wendell Carter, and we just announced signing Luke Bryan that has joined our team as our music ambassador. So what we've done, we've created the first of its kind registered SEC digital security. It's a revenue generating security for all of our Turncoin investors and Turncoin holders. On a monthly basis, they'll earn divided by 100% of all the earnings that come in from its operating company underneath Turncoin, which is known as TheXchange and VirtualStaX. So VirtualStaX allow people to issue virtual shares of themselves to their friends, their families, their fan base, their community, their teammates, their coaches and teachers, whoever the case may be. So if you're a very popular celebrity, iconic, professional like Patrick Mahomes, who has millions and millions of fans, it's a great liquidity event for him to offer another way for his fans to be able to connect and communicate with him by holding his virtual shares. The other side of the angles, what I talked about before, is the billions of people that are amateurs or novices that can now use this like a GoFundMe, where they can raise money to help them continue to go after their passion and their desired career. So if they want to be the next Derek Jeter, but they don't have any money for a MIT, they can throw their virtual shares up on the VirtualStaX platform. They can sell some virtual shares to their uncle, their parents, their teammates, their coaches, whoever, and bring in some money to continue to go after their dreams. Now, if you did buy those virtual shares when that player was 13 or 14 and you held them and then they got drafted to the major leagues and then they won a World Series 10 years later, you're sitting with something that's of high demand and high value, and you've helped somebody actually continue to go after their dreams and you've been part of that journey with them. So it's one of a kind, incredibly amazing technology and platform. Rudolph Markroff, the CEO, amazing dear friend. I met him speaking in Dubai many years ago. I saw what his vision was and what he wanted to do. And I said I needed to join the team and become part of it. So since then, we've definitely knocked it out of the park and we built an incredible company.
Yeah, it's such a great idea, of course. It makes sense. You know, it makes so much sense. You have a golfer or a young tennis player, or even somebody that wants to be a professional baseball player or a football player, or, you know, a soccer player or football player, you know, that they call it in Europe. And, you know, they need some training. They need, they're younger. They want to start sort of selling their brand, if you will, early. And all of a sudden you help them. And, you know, maybe you provide an opportunity for them to go to some advanced training as a 12 or 13-year-old. And all of a sudden they're 18, you know, they get drafted, or, you know, they end up on Barcelona's soccer team or football team or something right. Like that. It's big. I mean, what a great idea. And of course, you meet people all the time. You met, you know, the CEO in Dubai when you were, I believe, a speaker in Dubai. And of course, the rest is history. Now, let's talk about the NFTs, because a lot of people are very interested in that. You've got some great ideas and some very interesting things happening after having launched some of the biggest NFT projects in the world. So let's touch on that. Sort of a new industry, new market, you know, for guys like you know, maybe not so new, but for the people listening, it might be a newer type of a concept for them. So maybe we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a industry in its infancy. I've been part of it since the beginning. Whenever there's a fad or some sort of movement happening, I've always been in my career building it and staying with the fad to see if it's going to be something that's going to be long term. But because in order for me to survive it, again, it's that adapt or die. So I highly looked at the NFT market, not like most early on. I looked at it as another mechanism for helping companies or projects get funding, but also build a community. So these NFT community are quite incredibly powerful. They're strong. They can make movements happen. It's the same type of people that took GameStop to where it was during the shutdown, when they took that stock from zero to hero. Same thing with AMC. They did this recently with Bed Bath & Beyond. So these are the type of people that are also involved with these crypto and NFT communities. And if they get behind something, they can take your project or your company to a whole new level, which to me, I was like, this is amazing, because if you're a startup or if you're going through a series rounding, you need to find a way to create an NFT, which is a non-fungible token. Basically, think of it as a digital asset that sits in a digital wallet. I'll make it as simple as that. It's a virtual drawing, it's a virtual picture, it's a virtual membership card that gives you all kinds of perks and utilities and access. I won't get any deeper than that because there's no reason to. That's what the common people need to know. It's just a digital piece of memorabilia that hopefully has some future higher demand than what you paid for it, and you can make some money. But in the interim, it's supposed to give you some great access and some great rewards. And that's what we've built. We built incredibly designed NFTs by Pixar, 21st Century Fox, Disney animators and designers. So we really went out of this with some of the most beautiful visuals. So there's immediate value in the asset, like a piece of art sitting in your digital wallet. Then we started to unlock great opportunities, great staking programs, and that helped us protect our selling pressure because people want these things. They're in high demand. We get a lot of press. So we didn't fail much during the whole crypto crisis because, again, there's real value behind it. So the way I was looking at this is it's another business channel. Maybe it's your standalone business or it's an ancillary division of your business, and you have to treat it like a business. You have to treat the people buying this product like they're a cherished consumer, and you want to give them the world for holding one of these, and you want to make sure they never sell it. So that's the model we built. We wrapped it with incredible professionals from around the world to give it great credibility. And the professionals helped the NFT open up new opportunities because all of these professionals we brought in are in 25 different industries. They're leaders, they're CEOs, they run major conglomerates. So now you have an NFT with access to these incredible CEOs, but also what kind of business can we create together with the digital asset that we've created with our NFT projects and those multi-billion-dollar companies. So we really opened up a whole new world for how an NFT should be developed, how it should be nurtured, and how it should be launched into the market, and more importantly, how we should protect our NFT holders. A lot of these projects, they're known as rug pulls. They're just trying to grab and steal money, and there's no real value, there's no real utility behind it. That's unfortunate for the industry because we need as many projects like ours that are reputable, that are pushing through all the noise, that have real utility, that have real value, because the more of the ones like us that are out there, then we can really create a sustainable market. This can be an incredible medium for companies to raise money without having to give up equity and build a customer base. And that's how I went into looking at it, and that's what we continue to do.
Yeah, I love it so much. And you have so much going on, for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, of course, this is a journey that Bryan's been on for, many, many years that has brought him to this sort of point and this pinnacle. And it's really, really fascinating. So many people reach out to you and they want a piece of you, Bryan. So I want to ask, how do you cut through it? How do you decide and make enough time for everything that's coming your way?
Yeah, hopefully I haven't missed any amazing opportunities, but I respond back to everybody. I use LinkedIn and Twitter, so it's Bryan J. Esposito. People reach out to me through our corporate site, eie.rocks, eie.rocks. And I do get back to everybody. I book hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour-long calls, whoever reaches out to me at some point. And I just have an honest discussion on how I work, how and what they're trying to accomplish, and if there's a way for us to work together. I always want to try to help people. But I don't want to be used or taken advantage of for my time, my relationships, and my expertise. So I finally hit a point where I have enough story behind me and support behind me on what I do, how I do it, the successes that we've had. So when people do reach out to me, at least they know how I work and how I get onboarded into companies and projects. And the ones that want to work with me tend to be real at this point. Again, because there's such great legal compliance and accounting. The BS ones that don't really have what they say they have, or they just want to use my name to go out there and try to raise money and not really do anything, they don't really bother me anymore because they know that there's a vetting process. They know the people and the caliber of people that I work with. So it's not worth their time to try to screw me. So that's great. I finally hit that 20 years later. But in the past, I've been taken for a ride by people, but I'm always grateful for that because they showed me a vulnerability that I have. They show me things I need to work on as far as preventing problems from happening, because that's more fun now. Most of my career I was really good at solving problems, and that's why people wanted to work with me. Now I want to be the best at preventing a problem from happening in the first place, and you can't get there unless you've been through hell and back.
I love it. It's such a great attitude because you've taken your background and experience. You've taken the times that you've landed on your behind. You've taken the times that you've scraped your knees. You've taken the times that you scraped your elbows up, like all great entrepreneurs have done in their past. And you've turned it on its head and you've said to yourself, hey, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to clean myself up. And I'm going to learn how not to fall again. And that's really the key of a great entrepreneur, Bryan. I know we've only cut out a certain amount of time, but I wanted to talk to you about the metaverse. You have this unique look at the metaverse. You tweet about it quite often. I think recently you were just tweeting about it, and you've had some LinkedIn messages as well. Where do you see the metaverse today? Where do you see it going?
Oh, it's so I've been involved with this again since inception, and it was like pulling teeth to try to get brands into some of our own metaverse related holdings. There's great metaverses like Somnium Space, which I'm honored to be a part of. Newer one known as Metasport Arena. It's one of the best ones out there, and we're doing great things there. So while it was very tough to get companies to understand what it is and to try to get them in, flipped over the last 12 to 18 months. And now every company and brand is trying to just say that they're in the metaverse. And all the brands and companies that we work with, I'm telling everybody to take a beat, just stop. Don't put a news release out saying that you're in the metaverse and that there's no real utility, there's no real value, there's no real experience. Because again, back to what I was saying, these community members in the NFT, crypto, and metaverse space, if they don't connect with what you're trying to do, they will blacklist you in the metaverse, but more importantly, they may blacklist you and block you in real life, and you don't want your brand to be going through that type of experiences. So for me, again, it's got to have real utility and value. If we bring a brand into the metaverse, it's got to have some really fun, great engagement, some great rewards so people can have that in VR or in 2D while they're in that metaverse. But it's got to relate back to real life. There's got to be some kind of call to action where they're going into Chili's and they're ordering an appetizer. They're going to order a Heineken beer somewhere at a game because they had some great experience in the metaverse, or they're buying T-shirts at H&M. Whatever the case may be, or whatever brand that's going in there, you got to move goods in real life. And that's one of the great things that we're doing with companies like UPS. My job and desire and goal is to make them an authority in the metaverse space with all of our NFT holdings. And this whole phygital component, which is combining a physical digital asset, which you would see in the metaverse or an NFT, and connecting that to a physical real life asset that you actually get received, shipped to you, or you go pick up somewhere while you're interacting with it in the metaverse. So for me, the easiest thing that I could do to now start help people understand what the metaverse is that we built a beautiful corporate headquarters, and that might have been what you saw on LinkedIn, inside Metasport Arena. And now in there, I'm putting all my holdings. So all of our companies will have offices and people that are in there so they can invite their clients, their partners, their colleagues to actually be inside of the metaverse, which is this whole great VR world, have discussions, have their meetings. And while they're walking around, they can see, oh, we can do this in here. We can do that in here. Because I don't think it's working if you're having Zoom calls or you're taking a conference call and you're talking about what are we going to do in the metaverse. I think you need to be in it in order to see what are the capabilities, what are the possibilities, and now how do you connect that with your intended audience. So excited to see what we're doing there, and it's been one amazing, very, very rewarding ride. This obviously you see the billions of dollars that are going into metaverse spend. What has to catch up, much like social media, and when Instagram and Facebook and all Twitter and MySpace launched, there was no social media director in big companies. There was no talent in-house to properly support that movement. Now there is. So we're seeing that again right now. These companies, whether they're mom and pop independent shops up to very large enterprise companies, they got to onboard and bring in some exceptional talent that understand what the metaverse is, understand the mentality of the people that are in there, and now how do you properly bring the brand or the IP into those new mediums? And it's great. I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to take some trial and error. We don't know who the real authority is, but we'll see who stands out as the big player, and it's great for brands and great for experiences once you figure out how to do it.
I love it, Bryan. You have to be in it to win it. For the entrepreneurs watching the show, rewind what Bryan just said with regard to where you're going in the future. If you're not in it, you can't win it. Now, before I let you go, a couple more things. And thanks for cutting out a little time for me.
Of course, my pleasure.
You've got the world's first crypto hotel. We spoke about this, when we had you on the show originally. Let's give the audience an update of what's happening with that. That's a super cool concept.
Oh, such a cool concept. So Ken Patel, CEO, chairman of EV Hotel, I joined forces with him where he had this very high-tech, smart IoT devices all throughout the hotel, completely automated services and check-in processes and guest experiences. I was working on a crypto concept hotel with some of the major hotel flags. Like any other big corporation, very slow to move. I had to make a move and partner with a great forward thinker and a great company such as EV Hotel. So we joined forces and we became this first high-tech / crypto / NFT hotel concept, which currently has over 119 hoteliers around the world that want to adapt our our hotel concept. Either they want to convert their old flag to ours, or they want to build from ground up, which is an amazing demand for a hotel that doesn't even have one building up yet. Our first one is being developed now in Phoenix. We just announced our Punta Cana location. It'll be our first 5-star location with a Spanish pub co as our partner. And again, the pipeline is amazing. What will happen is our NFT communities, our crypto communities will be able to go to these hotels, pay for things in crypto. When they walk through the lobby, they can see their NFTs proudly displayed while they're checking in. They can also see those NFTs when they go into the room, and they can feel really customized experience because the people that hold these digital assets or these NFTs are extremely proud to own them. They want to show them off. And there's no real place where people of this community can go and engage with crypto, go and engage with NFTs. We completely removed the ballroom in our hotels because it's a very high cost and little return piece of real estate when it's not being operated. And we're putting New York Stock Exchange crypto trading floors so we can actually start to show people that don't understand crypto, give them a media component, much like watching CNBC or Bloomberg, where there's trading going on. If someone can see people creating markets, buying and selling, you can see crypto companies having seats on our exchange, then the generational wealth can say, oh, I'm starting to get it. That's no different than buying my IBM stock. That's no different than buying Parkway bonds. That's no different than buying my mutual funds. It's another asset class. I just didn't understand it because I didn't see it. So that's what we are attempting to accomplish. And through all of the digital components we brought into this hotel, the NFTs, the crypto, the trading floor, our goal is to make this the most profitable hotel concept that's ever been created. And I think we definitely are rattling the industry because a lot of people are wanting to talk with us in the space. A lot of other flags are replicating what we're announcing. So it's great to see. We want to see this antiquated industry really upgrade their technologies, upgrade things like crypto, and really give the guests and the staff experiences and services that they demand.
Yeah, super cool, Bryan. Of course, you mentioned what you're doing with, the big ballrooms, and you said you didn't see it, and then ultimately you saw it, and that's because you surround yourself with talented people. And for the entrepreneurs watching the show, remind yourself, you can't know it all. Sometimes you miss a few things. Sometimes you don't see some things, and sometimes you don't even see things that are the most apparent. But if you keep on pushing, surround yourself with the right people, keep your nose to the grindstone, you're going to see it all. All right, before I let you go, you have a super cool background. I mean, you've got memorabilia, and you've got like a laser gun, and you've got a skateboard and all kinds of photos. Behind you, what's the thing that resonates the best for you in terms of, what you're doing in your life, your business, your family? Which one of those photos, do you really love the most?
These are all great. There's too many to say. Well, I'm in a shared universe. It's a podcast studio. Right here, Ming Cheng is the CEO. I got the engineer, Christian, here always rocking it with me. And it's just a great inspirational space. There's great memorabilia from every movie you can think of. I think it's the Ghostbusters pack over here, which you can't see, which is my ultimate favorite. So there's a lot of fungus spores and things.
I love it. You love to have fun. You believe you're on the planet to do great things together. Your Twitter following's fantastic. Your LinkedIn posts go viral. I mean, I love when I see Brian J. Esposito's LinkedIn posts come up. Sometimes you even mention me, and I get a big kick out of that.
Thanks,
listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. Again, this has just been great to have you on for the second time, and so many great things are happening. You're a go-to, expert. I mean, you've got the NFTs going right now. You've got Turncoin, VirtualStaX, which is awesome, helping the young, athletes and everybody else in the world. You've got the world's first crypto hotel. You're an expert in the Metaverse. I mean, you're on it. We love it. We can't wait to have you back on the show, Bryan. So thanks so much for coming on the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Thank you so much, Andy. Have a great upcoming weekend, pal.